to our beloved channel families. Join us by subscribing anew. Wherever country you are in, please let me know in the comments where you are and where we will go next. Today our journey is to the city of Asmara, Eritrea, the structure and historical journey of Asmara City fathers of Asmara. Sitting in cafes under their ancient buildings, chatting pleasantly, told their children, who were about to say gelato, the amazing history of their city structure. Ancient Asmara 7th century, you have called the time the 7th century. It was 1,400 years ago. The footpath and the Zion Mary, the Endemariam church in our country, you see were here. Around it were for small residential areas called Geza Gurdo, Geza Shalal, Geza Sirenser, and Geza Ismay. Since the time was far, the neighborhoods were placed as far as you can imagine. The four neighborhoods physically separated, but faced a common problem. That was Zerfia. When they came from afar and their properties were plundered by raiders, their nature was disturbed and they suffered great damage. The wisdom of women and the meaning of Arbet Asmara, the solution is with the Creator. So to have mercy on them and to make the rain fall, they connected with the Endemariam church. We do not know when it was known that women were wise, but our wisdom is enough to testify. It is one of the effective wisdoms recorded in history that saved Asmara city. Before the joint prayer, they had to pray alone, and just as the prayer ended, the women approached the men. We thought it was because of the rain's destruction, but our problem was not only the rain. We have an agenda to advise you on the opportunity you gave us. They said, if the rain stops, where will the raiders think? We gave the rain issue to the Creator, but the raiders accepted the men. They said, what good is it for our elders to be united in prayer if they do not protect their fences? They said proudly, and the men were ashamed. They united and decided to fight the raiders. The solution of the wise women worked. Their elders said, the women united, and gave the new community the name Arbet Asmara. Archaeological discoveries and the Sembel neighborhood. This is the story of the fathers of Asmara. Archaeologists who like to gather in Asmara cafes not to chat idly, but to discuss seriously say, the heritage of Asmara is beyond this. The city plan is not random. Human habitation in Asmara began before Christ's birth, more than 800 years ago. If they lie, they will take your hand and take you to Sembel. Sembel is a neighborhood of Asmara. Like Europeans' administration, from 1998 to 2003, a new residential neighborhood was being built in Sembel. During the construction, ancient stones began to be uncovered. As the construction deepened and the stones were uncovered, the result was the discovery of residential houses built before the Aksumite Empire. Modern Asmara and Italian influence. Although archaeology and history say Asmara is an ancient city, no one can deny that today's city was created less than 80 years ago. Italy made Asmara its main settlement from its colonial capital Massawa to Asmara under European administration in 1897. After 40 years, fascist Mussolini declared, I will create an East Africa, and made Asmara the main city of Italian colonial rule. Architects were sent, master plans prepared, and in just 6 years, from 1935 to 1941, they built buildings with remarkable architecture and art for their time, tree-lined streets, wide roads for cars and pedestrians, bicycle lanes, a sewage system. Asmara was also called Piccola Roma or Little Rome. UNESCO heritage and today's Asmara-like European administration. Since 2017, Asmara has been recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, the only one in Eritrea, Asmara, which was carefully preserved. Saying what I have is enough, rejecting modernity and the world. Is a social life without social media, a city with no new buildings or roads, a city frozen in the 1930s. Old friends gather in cafes and still read the old newspaper, reminiscing and drinking macchiato, a city that reminds one of a 1960s film to those unaware of the modern world, those who were born and raised, lived and learned, who know by chance, or perhaps have heard the story from their parents and wish to see it. Each of our Asmara families Visiting their neighborhoods will recall and revive their memories by showing the main Asmara landmarks. Before our departure, Faya Tagliro is an architectural masterpiece, a symbol of right-wing rule and an iconic landmark of Asmara. It is an ancient building, but still stands today as one of the most talked about constructions. It was once a fuel station. It was built in the shape of an airplane or an aeroplane. Its two wings, which extend 30 meters without any support, are well known. According to the city, the engineers who constructed the building were worried that the unsupported wings might collapse, so they reinforced the wooden supports used during construction. The situation troubled the main architect Giuseppe Petazzi, who insisted on removing the supports by force. After more than 80 years, even though Giuseppe Petazzi and the architect are no longer alive, the Faya Tagliro airplane wings still bravely defy the laws of gravity. Cinema Impero is older than Faya Tagliro by 1 year. It was built in 1937 during European rule. It was a cinema where the children of Asmara, young people who studied at Asmara University, used to gather. After 9 to 10 years, it remains one of the prominent buildings in Asmara where the old cinema can still be seen. Nearby, Cinema Roma is not far from here, where you can find old cafes, watch European football, and see national celebrations with artistic displays. Freedom Street, or Viale Mussolini, during the right-wing rule was known as Mussolini Street. Any Italian visitor who came to Asmara and did not walk along Freedom Street would not truly know Asmara. The cafes and restaurants along the street serve Italian food and drinks such as pizza, pasta, gelato, and macchiato, all found throughout Asmara. Italian baristas take pride in their macchiato skills and do not disappoint. Indeed, Asmara has not forgotten its own culture. It loves the ancient coffee ceremony. From the first to the third coffee, the tradition is still highly respected in Asmara today. Injera, shiro, and various traditional dishes are not found among the main food offerings in restaurants. Anyone who claims to know Asmara should ask about Abashual. Without knowing Abashual well, one cannot say they know Asmara. Abashual is not just a neighborhood in Asmara. It is its breath, its heart, and its soul. It began during the fascist right-wing rule when blacks and whites were legally segregated into residential areas. According to European control, the master plan designed by architect Vittorio Cafiero in 1938, Eritreans were separated from the right-wing rulers, and neighborhoods were created based on skin color. The Italian military camp Campo Cintato and the residential area established in 1935 were for Italians, while the indigenous Asmara residents were assigned to the northern and eastern parts of the city, which is today's Abashual. Although Abashual was used by fascists to control the country's owners, the residents of Asmara, who were gathered by different ethnicities and faiths, but only distinguished by skin color, created a wonderful life full of identity, popular unity, and unique thinking, completely unrecognized by fascists. Today, Abashual is a neighborhood where many famous and prominent people known to Asmara residents have lived, and it remains an indelible part of their identity. Tiravolo is a residential neighborhood. For its time, it was very modern, with brick walls, villas built with concrete, wide roads for cars and pedestrians, and it is a neighborhood that can be followed in the memories of those who lived there in the 1930s. Sembel is the new face of Asmara. Even if you live all over Asmara, you will find new shared residential houses built recently with tall buildings. At our entrance, as we mentioned, there are ancient Asmara houses that are 2,800 years old, and it is a neighborhood with two faces that has preserved the past and the present. Historically, Sembel is a new neighborhood compared to the architectural foundation of Asmara. Gaddafi was once a lifeless area, but is now a neighborhood with wide streets known for commerce, shops, small eateries, and daily life. If we want to visit Asmara's market centers, Idaga Arbi. The 31st of March 2026, 10:45 a.m. Asmara and Medibur. Asmara will be our first stopover. Vegetables and fruits coming from the Dagama area, spices from the Kalama areas, and various handicraft products are sold in a place that was, at least for a period, a market center of Asmara. Medibur is the district of Kirkurl. Old traditional products made of leather and metal alloys, which were once exchanged as household goods, have now turned into a professional sector that has shifted to the market center on the right side of the city. History of Asmara University. If you graduate from Asmara University, you will take your memories back to the place where you were nurtured. The entrance gate looks like this today. However, the university has stopped providing teaching and learning services for about 18 years, unlike before when it served as an educational institution like in your time. This is its history. Like the European administration, in 2001, the government called on university students to suspend their studies and serve the public and the home as a compulsory service. However, the students opposed this call. This angered the government. Starting from 2002, the university was ordered to stop admitting new students. Thus, Asmara University, like the European administration, suspended the final batch of students in 2007 and completely stopped its teaching and learning services. Today, Eritrean students entering higher education institutions are distributed among 7 different colleges in their respective areas, but they do not come to Asmara University. Although the university offers various government training programs and workshops, it still provides services. Hotels in Eritrea. If you want a nearby resting place, I will take you to Albergo Italia. Founded in 1899 under European administration, it is the first among the ancient and historical hotels in Asmara. It has been renovated and still provides services before. The Niala Hotel, which we know from the book by Gurma Orame during the holiday, looks like this. If you want a modern resting place, I will take you to one of Asmara Palace, Crystal, or Sunshine hotels. Both modernity and tradition reflect the meaning given to each country. Karen and Massawa. Karen is located 91 kilometers northwest of Asmara and is the second largest city in Eritrea with 120,000 inhabitants. In the past, Massawa was the main trade gateway to Sudan. Massawa is a city surrounded by rocky mountains where a painful war was fought to free Eritrea from Italian rule. Massawa has red soil. What makes Massawa well known is its extremely high temperature, more than any other place, especially for someone coming from Asmara. Entering Massawa within hours and experiencing the heat is not an easy climate change. The history of Massawa begins during the Aksumite Kingdom period. It was the second largest port after Adulis and was the port city of Ethiopia until Eritrea was established. It was a port city with a warm climate where oil, fuel, and various machinery were imported into the country. Massawa, which has deep sea water capable of docking large ships, is the gateway to the Dahlak Islands and remains the main port of Eritrea today, although its city activities have shifted to the port of Farsha. Although it is said that Massawa was destroyed during the war with Ethiopia, after 38 years, it has been preserved as a war museum and does not seem to be a city that provides large-scale services like a port. Dahlak Islands. Dahlak is located 58 kilometers from Massawa and consists of 125 islands. Among all these islands, only 3 are inhabited. Dahlak Kebir, the largest island, has 1,500 inhabitants overall. The population on the Dahlak Islands is estimated to be up to 5,000, and they have their own language called Dahlak, which is a mixture of Afar and Tigrinya and is not spoken in any other part of the country. The 31st of March 2026, 10:45 a.m. During the Italian administration, on the right side of the city, the Dahlak Islands served as a prison. During the Cold World War, the Soviet Union, which had good relations with socialist Ethiopia, had a naval base on the Red Sea to establish dominance. although the area has beautiful natural scenery that could become a major tourism center. Due to the lack of sufficient infrastructure, the tourism activity in Eritrea has been hindered, and the local residents have not been able to benefit from their beautiful islands as they should. The 31st of March 2026, 10:47 a.m. Asab is a port city located on the southern Red Sea, which was a major commercial hub before Eritrea separated from Ethiopia. It was home to a fuel refinery factory managed under the Ethiopian Petroleum Corporation and was a bustling port city. Even after Eritrea's independence, 90% of the ships it hosted were Ethiopian. However, in 1997, under European management, the Asab fuel refinery factory ceased operations. Since 1998, with the reduction of the war between Ethiopia and Eritrea, the port has been fully operational again. Today, Asab is no longer what it used to be, although it handles about 3% of Eritrea's foreign trade. Its infrastructure has deteriorated, and its commercial activity has declined, making it a port city that has lost much of its former productivity. Strategically located in Eritrea, Asab holds a significant position in global trade and tourism and plays a major role geopolitically in the region. However, over the past 3 decades, it has become isolated from the world and closed off to itself, much like many other parts of northern Africa. Today, Eritrea's name is positively recognized in global media mainly because of cycling. Biniam Girmay, who hails from Eritrea, made history in 2024 by becoming the first African to win the prestigious Tour de France cycling race, bringing great honor to himself, his country, and his people. Before Biniam, Eritrean cycling was shaped by their legendary and never-forgotten competitor Gebru Gebru, who paved the way for Eritrean cyclists to compete internationally. The first cycling competition in Eritrea was organized in 1937 under European administration. However, due to racial discrimination, Eritreans were not allowed to participate, and all competitors were white Italians. 2 years later, in 1939, Eritrean natives were permitted to compete. Gebru Gebru shocked the fascists and silenced the local population with his victory, winning the competition outright. Since then, cycling has been more than just a sport in Eritrea. It has become a symbol of victory and a defining feature of Eritrean identity. During the time Eritrea was part of Ethiopia, Eritrean cyclists competed internationally representing Ethiopia. Today, Eritrean cyclists are known for their dominance in cycling competitions across Africa, especially in Ethiopia and Kenya. Anyone who has had the chance to travel on the Asmara roads knows that cycling there is more than just a competition. It is a national culture that requires no explanation, especially on Sundays, when many roads in Asmara are closed to vehicles. Cycling races take place. For most cyclists, cycling is not just a sport, but a way of life. The cool climate, the wide roads of Asmara, and the lack of modern mass transportation have all contributed to the continuation of their love for cycling. This concludes our visit today. We thank you for staying with us.